What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at Futties Dybala, and this is the second time that I've done this intro because all of the footage we did, all of the intro to Dybala and Dan James and the first match and a half, and it corrupted, so we are doing it again. Dybala is fantastic. Genuinely, we've played with him. You're going to see some clips. Unfortunately, the first game that we got was actually a lot better. Managed to score quite a few goals, and it's a shame because we couldn't quite replicate it. I feel like we had a good balance of a decent player, but not necessarily. There's a fly in here. Not necessarily over amazing, but we played against just absolute pros, like obviously not pros, but obviously very good. We had moments. Vieira sitting at centre back and was man marking him consistently, but the card is fantastic. Manages to get around him a few times. He's got great stats throughout. We have whacked a hawk, which gives him 99 pace, 99 shooting, and 95 physical. He has had an upgrade from a 4-star 3-star to a 5-star 4-star, which is always fantastic, and he possesses the traits that I love: the finesse shot, the outside of the foot, and the flair. Absolutely wonderful traits. Really puts him in that kind of end game zone. He is left footed, so obviously you want him more on a right striker zone, but I would say I would look at him mainly as a cam if you have that in your formation. I personally play 4-4-2, so I like to see how he fits in that sort of cycle, as it's what I'm used to. We did whack him up as a striker because the stats really, he could play most positions up front. I think anything above CM, he's 93 and above, and then I think striker's 96, everything else is 98 and 99. So you can get the drift that his attacking play is outstanding. It is a shame that we don't get the dynamic image of Juventus. Obviously, I would love to see the Juventus shirt on the dynamic, but unfortunately, we have just got the bog standard plain white shirt for him. And again, the dynamic's pretty clean. The card is a fantastic upgrade from his 91 previously. In the overall, we will have a look at all of the SBCs that you've got to complete for him, as again, they are back on it with the 79, the 80, the gold rated teams. So stay tuned for all of that. Let's have a look and see, is Dybala worth 600,000 coins? Dan James on the ball. What can we find with him? We've already played one match with him, so we know what he's capable of. But unfortunately, we lost the footage, which is always fantastic. So obviously, we're only just getting into this next match with him. The pace of Dan James there is extraordinary, and we've got Dan James versus Traore in this match. I feel like he was offside there, so lucky we didn't get him. Is he on? He is indeed. He's gonna go for that. He's never gonna miss that. Literally, as soon as you have that kind of two versus one combo, and you kind of show that you want to pass it but then don't, pretty much most players of the caliber that we've got right now will score them chances. Dybala. Love it. Get that finesse. That's a solid save from Oblak, but lovely little play there. Makes the defender do the little slide and then just doesn't manage to find it. I think he was going for his little header there. To Dybala. He's just brilliant. He genuinely is brilliant. Comes in at a bit of a cost, but the stuff that he can produce is just absolutely extraordinary. Dybala out-heading a bit of Vieira there. That's very nice to see, to be honest. I thought Vieira was pretty much unstoppable in that midfield, in that defence. Oh, we're trying to get that through ball through the legs. I feel like it's going to pay off eventually. I think the biggest issue we've got now with people like a Dan James, obviously the more cheaper one. Dybala kind of sits in his own category at the moment, but Dan James being like 200k, also having multiple people in that same category, that right mid, obviously very quick, dribbling, all of that jazz, and obviously Prem, is, you've got a choice. I thought that was flying in then, because obviously you've got Traore, for instance, if we're picking him out of the hat. You've got Salah team of the season. You've got a lot of good players. You don't even necessarily have to have a right mid there. You could obviously have a left mid with any sort of like 99 Neymar. You could have had a Messi. He then becomes less valuable to that position because obviously there is already for your team for sake. Already somebody, that's a goal, that's a great goal. There's already be somebody with a good value there. So that then becomes, is he worth doing the SBC? And I think in general, if you can grind it more than kind of just kind of put coins into it, is you will get a 94 rated card back regardless. Obviously you've got to do a couple of rubbish SBCs, you get just a gold pack back. That is still possible to get someone good. Yes, the likely chance of you actually packing somebody from a gold pack is very slim, but the amount of times that we've said that and then somebody's got an icon, somebody's got someone massive, it can happen. And then at the very end, if you have grinded for little card value, it's a good header, little card value, little coins, obviously then you have got the overall value of the card for fodder. If you've got the 98 Messi right wing, you don't necessarily need him. You can just go ahead, whack Dan James into an SBC, wait until the icon repeatable comes, because I can guarantee with the 85 times 10 here, that is going to be possible. So I would say 100% he's worth it regardless, even if you're not necessarily going to use him. If you can grind it, not necessarily put your coins into it, but genuinely grind it, you've got a great card there. And if you want him as a super sub, I still think he would be absolutely fantastic. The pace on him is brilliant. Obviously his shooting is quite decent. His movement seems to be better than what I'm seeing from Traore's 92, but obviously we've still got the 95 to go on that one, so that's going to be quite interesting. Obviously if you've got somebody who can defend, then he loses that kind of that spam of just pace. If you've got somebody who can kind of step up with him, as we see here, what a lot of people will do with against James there is they'll bring the kind of defender forward to try and obviously stop that speed run, because once you get that ball in behind, you know that you're not going to catch him. Like here, you've not got Mendy there, you've got Marquinhos, you know that pretty much you need to foul him, because he's always going to be able to whip that ball over, leading to an attack, leading to something, and you can't risk with 94 rated players, you cannot risk them actually getting a ball through. Dybala heading on to R9, looking for a bit of movement. It's funny because the first couple of games that we played with him that were obviously corrupted, he was on fire to score. Genuinely couldn't stop him. Now, we're not necessarily not finding him to score, but we're coming up against very, very good opponents with great defenses. Again, like this guy's got Vieira at the back. Marquinhos, who's not necessarily as good, but it seems that we may have to change Dybala, because it seems that Vieira's found his target in the 97 Dybala. I think the one thing that Dybala has for me that really kind of puts it into perspective, if you have a Ronaldo, any sort of version, this is like the absolute just brilliant link that you can use. If you obviously have him, like a Ronaldo, any sort of version, to be honest, we're still rocking the gold version, waiting for obviously our team of the season to pop up eventually. But I think with me, with this Dybala increase, it does all depend on what position you've got available. Obviously, if you've already got some pretty top, oh, I thought that was a good finish. If you've already got a pretty good top team, then obviously it's going to, again, be harder to kind of maneuver around. But if you have got a Ronaldo, you've got already a strong link there that absolutely bangs more than anything. And I think the kind of biggest upgrade, if you're going to kind of compare, is going to be someone like Kimmich. Even though his team of the season was absolutely phenomenal, I really, really enjoy his Summer Stars. And I think that is a well worth SBC that you could have done. And I think Dybala is definitely coming in again at the same. And if you are following the kind of 85 times 10 grinding method, then you should be able to get it done relatively easy. Again, you've got a few lower rated SBCs to kind of put up with, but they should be pretty standard by now. And then a couple of high rated ones that, again, with the 85 times 10 method, should be easily approaching to get it complete quite quickly as well. Obviously, we've got a bit of coins as well, that always helps with the process, but even the grinding side of it, you've got a few days to get him done. I will find out obviously how many days once we get into the SBC and the overall, but we'll find him just consistently going through as much as we can. He is going against a prime moment Vieira here, so again, a little bit more tricky when you've got somebody who can defend, but then also has some very top tier players coming up against you. So going into the overall for Dybala, so the Dan James SBC was a little bit glitched. This one looks about right. Or does it? I swear there was more. No, this has got to be right, because you've got the 87, you've got the 86, the 84, and 80, 83, and then the 80. Yeah, that's about right. So obviously you pretty much disregard these six, sorry. They're not going to do anything for you. You've got a common, you've got a rare, you've got a 278, a 79, and an 80. Again, you look at the requirements, absolutely nothing to give up. Easy, absolutely easy to do, and yeah, you don't get necessarily the best packs back for it. That one gives you literally a gold pack. You're not really going to be expected to get massive back in terms of value, but it can happen. That just is it. You've got to put your money in where you think you can. An 83 rated SBC, Dan James is final one, very easy to complete, 70 cam, informed team of the season, solid. Then we have again an informed team of the season. We've got then a Juventus player, another team of the season with an Argentinian, and then obviously the 87. So this is going to be the one that's going to get annoying if you have got a bit of fodder and you can do maybe 285 times 10. I feel like you put a lot of them into this one, but then also you've probably got enough spillage to put into the 84 and 86, and then maybe depending on where your team's at, you do a third one. Or again, if you've got two of them and they've managed to do all of these with high rateds, maybe you've not got anybody below 86, then obviously you can do all four, and then literally these cost nothing. Like 80 rated, maybe a little bit more tricky, but again, if you've got any spillage over from maybe like 81s, 82s, whack it in there and then drop the rating. These are just absolutely easy. You can go get gold commons from a specific league and absolutely smash them out of the park. But I think the SBC, it seems a lot, but then when you look at it, realistically, it's 4 SBCs. The rest of it is just a load of nonsense. For some reason, they're trying to control that gold market. For whatever reason. We did whack, was it a Hawk? It was indeed. A 99 pace, 99 shooting, 95 physicality. Everything else is absolutely amazing with this card. We've got plenty of 99s. We've got mostly, I think if everything is with the chem style is above 90 attacking wise. Defensively, we're not too fussed. He's going to stay up front. I would prefer him more as a kind of centre forward cam like his position suggested, but he definitely can play up front as well. There's no reason that this card with these many stats could not. So overall, I think he's definitely coming in at a 10 out of 10. There is still things I'd like to change potentially, and it's mainly I'd like a 5-star Dybala, to be honest. Being a little bit greedy, but I think that is literally the only thing that I'd upgrade from him. His stats, like I say, are pretty much maxed out. Bar from actually maxing them out, there's not really too much else you want to do with this card. He's got the traits, he's got the stats, obviously he's got the skill moves. It's just that weak foot. Would love a 5-5. Dybala coming in at 600 or just under 600 now. I feel like if you can grind it, he is way more worth than that value. I feel like if you're looking at this card on the transfer market back when FIFA was kind of full swing, you'd be looking over $1 million easily, absolutely easily. So I think the SBC is fair. It is, again, like I say, just 4 SBCs. Make sure you focus on them. And normally what I would do is go from top to bottom, try and kind of make it efficient to do that SBC, and then obviously move on to the next one, because as you kind of go through, you'll realize that it will rinse your club very, very easily, and that's what the 78, 9, and 80 are trying to do. They're not necessarily there for the value of it to bump it up a little bit, because realistic when you look at it, they're not that expensive. Like literally, I got for the first 4 of them, you can go and get gold commons, which is like 450 each card. So you're looking absolutely cheap as chips, really. So for me, I feel like he is worth it. I would grind for him. You've got until the 13th of the 8th, so when this actually expires, which is in 14 days if you count today. So absolutely incredible SBC. The card is absolutely sensational. Great link to Ronaldo, and just is one of them really, really good players. So hopefully you did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, as well as subscribing with the notifications on, and I'll see you all for the next one. Peace.